So let's look at the informal complaints early resolution process. Parents of children with disabilities may file informal complaints. The implementation of the informal complaint early resolution process, or ERP, draws on the traditional models of parents and school districts working cooperatively in the educational interest of children to achieve their shared goals of meeting the educational needs of students with disabilities. Informal complaints can be made directly to the Louisiana Department of Education or directly to the school district. You can email special education, it's all one word, at la.gov. Informal complaints made to the Louisiana Department of Education will be made to the Louisiana Department of Education's intake coordinators, who's then going to refer the complaint to the early resolution process representative of the school district where your children are at. They should do it immediately, but if possible, but not later than 2 calendar days after receiving the complaint. Then within 15 days of filing an informal complaint, the parent in the school district shall sign a resolution agreement. So they're going to meet, come up with an agreement, we hope, or maybe have an agreement in writing to extend that resolution process. If no resolution agreement or extension is signed, the school district's early resolution process ERP representative shall provide the parent with a description of the Louisiana Department of Education dispute resolution options, acknowledged by a written receipt. So they need to have you sign something that you got it. How are we doing for questions, Wallace?
Not seeing any questions at this time.
Okay. So let's do a little check your knowledge. A little poll. For a formal complaint, the alleged violation must have occurred not more than blank days prior to the date the complaint is received. You have 3 choices: 6 months, B is 1 year, and C is 2 years. So what do y'all think? Looks like there's 7 of us here and only a couple of people have answered. Okay, I'm going to wait a few more seconds to give anybody else that wants to answer a chance to get in there. Okay, Wallace, you can stop sharing or share the results or whatever it is that you do. I'm going to go on. So the correct answer is C, 2 years. And that's fairly new in Louisiana. So if y'all didn't get it, don't feel bad, but put it in I tell people, put it in the back of your head that that time has been expanded to 2 years in law in Louisiana. So, do we have people chatting, Wallace? Are we still good? Looks like we're still good.
Yeah, we're still good.
Okay. Let's see if I can catch up with myself. So we're going to learn a little bit more about that formal complaint, right? The formal complaint investigation. A parent, adult student individual or organization can file a signed written complaint by U.S. mail, fax, email, or TDD with the Louisiana Department of Education. Formal administrative complaints procedures are developed under the supervisory jurisdiction of the Louisiana Department of Education. So they're supposed to do this. That's part of their responsibility. They do it to address allegations that a school district is violating a requirement of Part B of IDEA, the Individuals with Disabilities Education Act. Formal complaints must be written and signed. So you can type it, but you need to sign it in your handwriting, right? So you can type on the form, but you sign it in your handwriting. Unless the parties have already attempted an informal early resolution on the same issues, the complaint's going to be forwarded to the school district for an opportunity for local level resolution for the early resolution process, the ERP, before the complaint investigation. The party filing the complaint is supposed to forward a copy of the complaint to the school district or public agency serving the student at the same time they send the complaint to the Louisiana Department of Education. As a matter of fact, you have to write down the date that you sent it to the school system and the person that you sent it to. So the complaint has to allege a violation that occurred not more than 2 years prior to the date the complaint is received. The Louisiana Department of Education will provide the school district an opportunity to respond to the complaint or recommend a proposal to resolve the complaint through the ERP or mediation. Upon expiring of a 15-day resolution period, the complaint's reviewed and the school district is required to provide a response and supporting information to the investigator. Depending on the type of complaint, the Louisiana Department of Education can conduct an on-site visit. They don't have to, but they could. The complaint is given the opportunity, the complainant, typically the parent or the adult with a disability, is given the opportunity to provide additional information to the Louisiana Department of Education, either orally or in writing during the course of the investigation. All the relevant information is reviewed and a determination is made as to whether the school district is violating a requirement of applicable federal and state statutes. My throat's getting dry here. The Louisiana Department of Education has 60 days from the receipt of the complaint or 45 days from the end of the early resolution process period to issue a written decision to all parties on each of the allegations in the complaint. So let's do that thing with the website again. We're going to look at where the information is that you need to request the formal complaint. So, we told you about how to get to the dispute resolution page. And then you, on that same page, you want to scroll down until you see formal complaint request form, where the blue arrow is pointing, and click on that form, or click on those words. That page is, this is page 1 of the request for special education formal complaint investigation. As you can see, it's similar to the IEP facilitation request in regards to personal information. But there's a big difference with the formal complaint investigation. The blue arrow is pointing to a box that asks you to describe the problem or the nature of the dispute. What are the relevant facts, the significant people, the dates, and or events? They also want to know if you have a proposal or resolution for the stated dispute or problem. Additionally, they ask if you have any documents the investigator should review that support the allegations. If you have documents, you need to write out an exhibit list. An exhibit list is basically 1 and the name of the document, 2 and the name of the document. The second page is your signature, and you tell them again if you have any formal needs. You can inform them about accessibility needs, translation needs, interpreter needs. You also have to notify the school district. You're going to include the date you notified the school district, where the gold arrow with the number 1 is pointing. You sign it where that number 2 is pointing. And then you check off that you're submitting all necessary information. Part of this information is that box of information with the when, where, and how the violation took place and your proposed solution. You can also notify Louisiana Department of Education if you need the translator, the interpreter, or another accessibility need. Again, there's only 3 ways to get this to them. You print it out, you sign it, and you mail it, fax it, or email it. When you look on the website, there's a red box around part of the words in there. That doesn't mean anything. They just want you to notice it. It doesn't click it and send it to them. You have to mail it, fax it, or email it. Okay, we're up to another poll. This one is about mediation. Mediations are voluntary for... Wallace, did you launch the poll?
I'm trying to pull it up.
It's okay.
It'll take me a minute.
It's okay.
Oh, we gotta go to the back button and choose the back one. Okay, here we go.
Okay, so they're voluntary for A, parents, B, the school, or C, both parents and the school. I'm going to just wait a few more seconds. Sounds like more people have said parents and schools. You can close it, share it, whatever it is that you do with it, Wallace. Doesn't want to behave. Okay.
Ready?
Now I've got it. Nope. My computer just didn't want to behave. So the correct answer is C. Both parents and schools. So most of y'all had it right. Both parents and schools have to agree to do mediation. So let's learn a little bit more about the mediation process. Mediation is available to resolve a disagreement between parents and the school districts regarding identification, evaluation, placement, services, or the provision of the free appropriate education FAPE to a child with a disability. Parents or school districts may request mediation before, at the same time, or after requesting a due process hearing or complaint investigation. Requesting mediation will not prevent or delay a due process hearing or complaint investigation, and participating in mediation isn't going to impair or waive any other rights of parents. Mediation is a method for discussing and resolving disagreements between parents and school districts with the help of an impartial third person who's been trained in effective mediation techniques. Mediation is a voluntary process, and both parties must agree to participate in order for the mediation session to occur. The mediation sessions are scheduled in a timely manner and held in a location convenient to the parties in the dispute. Mediation services are provided by the Louisiana Department of Education at no cost to parents and school districts. Mediator doesn't make the decisions for y'all, though. He or she facilitates the discussion and the decision making. The discussions in a mediation session are confidential and are not to be used as evidence in subsequent due process hearings or civil court hearings. If the mediation process results in a full or even a partial agreement, the mediator is going to prepare a written mediation agreement that has to be signed by both parties. In addition to describing agreements made in the course of mediation, the mediation agreement will state that all discussions occurred during the mediation are confidential and may not be used as evidence in a due process hearing or civil court proceeding. The signed agreement shall be legally binding on both parties and enforceable in a court of competent jurisdiction. In order to initiate the process, a parent or a school district must send a request for mediation to the legal division of the Louisiana Department of Education. So let's look at where you're going to find that. Again, we're going to go to that dispute resolutions page. And you scroll down until you see the mediation request form where the blue arrow is pointing, and click on those words, mediation request form. This is page 1 of the form you in the school or the school district would need to complete. And as you can see, they request your personal information just like before, a little background information, and some available dates. It's quite similar to the IEP facilitation request form. The second page is just your signature, and you inform them if you have special needs like accessibility, translation, or interpreter. They also are letting you know that you need to be prepared to be there for 3 hours. You need to print it out, mail it, fax it, or email like they talk about. That red box doesn't do anything.